8:18 here, Big 550 KHRS. Let's talk a little TV with Gail Pennington. Good morning, Gail Pennington.
Good morning, McGraw. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Gail.
Spoiler alert, what'd you think of Mad Men last night?
Well, I think, I was just going to say we probably ought to issue our traditional Monday morning spoiler alert. I thought it was a fantastic episode.
I agree. It
was everything last week's episode wasn't.
Yes, it was tremendous on a lot of different levels. And I loved the character Glenn coming back.
Yes, exactly. You know that's Matthew Weiner's son, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's his son Martin, his oldest son.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know that either.
I don't love his mutton chop whiskers.
Well, that was the view, though, right? That was the.
Apparently, neither did Betty.
Well, that's been a weird thing from the beginning, right?
Right. She was so happy to see him, it was a little bit creepy.
Well, she's always had a little bit of even when he was a little kid. In the first season, they had a little weird something, whatever.
Apparently, too, he now has all his life mistaken that for her being in love with him.
Oh, God love him.
Or was right, or whatever.
No, I can't wait to see what happens.
I also liked the, what I thought was fantastic was Don Draper, the real estate agent's like, this looks like somebody's depressed living in this.
A sad person
lives here. And then his daughter gives it to him at the end.
Sally was right as always.
Right, and the guy who walked in who was like, you're just a sad man who's good looking, who has no talent. Yeah, it was, Don Draper got slapped across the face a couple times.
Well, and he also got told off by Peggy.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like I wanted just to slap him and say, snap out of it.
Yeah. It's really. And then for the first time last night, Gail Pennington, I realized that Joan's little boy is me.
Was Roger Sterling your father as well?
Well, no, Roger Sterling, I was not my father. But, right, the kid's 3 or 4 years old in 1970. You're talking,
so same age as you, born the same year you were.
Well, yeah, we're talking, now that kid is now, 45, 50 years old.
That's our generation.
Don't forget that Joan met someone who could be Mr. Right.
Yes, I like that guy.
Because he's played by Bruce Greenwood, who's one of my favorite actors.
He's good. So anyway, all right. So with only a few episodes left, Mad Men back on track.
So 4. They say 3 and they confuse people, but they're saying 3 more episodes before the finale.
So
that's 4.
Is the finale a 2-hour final, or is it?
I don't think so. I think it's a regular episode.
Aww,
So
it needs to be longer.
So
it needs to be like a whole evening long.
Yes, it does,
It needs
Gail.
to be a year long.
Yes. All right. Let's talk Bruce Jenner and Diane Sawyer.
Yeah. Oh. Gosh, I hope he's happy. That's all I can say.
Is he going to talk about being a woman?
Yes, he is. He supposedly chose Diane Sawyer, and I think that's a good choice.
Okay, right, yeah. Better than Letterman. I would agree with that.
Right. To tell all about his transition from male to female. And he says in the thesis for it that his whole life has led up to this.
People don't understand. We're trying to explain to Andrew how people think Bruce Jenner is Kim Kardashian's stepfather. But Bruce Jenner had a whole other life as a world-class athlete, and he was the Tom Brady of his day.
I don't even remember his Olympic accomplishments, but didn't he set a lot of records?
Oh, yeah. He was a decathlete, right?
He was considered
the great Olympian of his day.
He was considered the world's greatest athlete. He won the decathlon in the 76 Montreal Olympics and set a record doing so. He was on every Wheaties.
Decathlon, that is really hard.
That is yes, you get the title of the world's greatest athlete. He was on every Wheaties box. He was on every Bob Hope special. He was on every Love Boat, episode. I mean, the guy was everywhere for years.
Right, and we followed him through his first marriage. We followed him on the Keeping Up with the Kardashians era, and I don't know who among us in the public saw this coming.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, but I always thought it was a fake rumor or something. But I guess it's because the pictures of him in this interview, it looks like a woman.
I don't think he'd be doing the interview if he weren't going to go public with it. I mean, he has to at this point.
Yeah, no, all right. That's Friday on ABC. What is Happy-ish?
Happy-ish is a comedy which you wouldn't think twice about it. It's a funny comedy that premieres Sunday on Showtime. But this was going to be Philip Seymour Hoffman's show. It was created for him. And they were in the early stages of it when he died.
Is it a comedy or
It's a comedy. It's a half-hour comedy about an advertising executive whose new boss is way younger than he is.
So what are they going to do now?
Well, they recast the role, and it's now being played by Steve Coogan.
Okay.
And they finished it, and it's going to premiere on Sunday. But for me, it was very hard to watch even scenes from it and not imagine it with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Steve Coogan's the guy who was in Wilhelmina, right? Or Philomena, or what was that movie he was in?
Philomena.
Philomena, yeah.
Yes.
He was also
He's
in a.
very good.
He is really good. He was also in a movie, and the name of the movie escapes me. But him and his buddy are having an argument over who does the Michael Caine impression better. Did you ever see that scene?
No, you should post a clip of it.
Yeah, it's Michael Caine talks more like this, and he's like, "No, you're an idiot." And they go back and forth, being Michael Caine, yelling at each other about how bad their Michael Caine is. It's kind of a funny bit. It's on YouTube. I will post it for you. Anything else we should pay attention to?
This is a very light week because we have May sweeps coming up, and then we have the upfront announcements of the fall schedule. So that's just all coming up in the next couple of weeks.
And you know what, Gail? Why are May sweeps so early? It's like,
isn't that ridiculous?
Like
They're
mid-April.
like a week earlier than they should be.
May sweeps in December. You should do a story, Gail Pennington, on the fact that I watched the Cardinal game last night.
You watched it streaming on ESPN?
I watched it streaming on my MLB app. I hid my router and watched it on my MLB app and didn't have to have cable last night.
But you wouldn't have. Well, you would have, because you can't stream ESPN without having cable. So you broke the law? Is that what you're telling me, McGraw?
No, I didn't break the law.
I think you did break the law.
see, Gail?
That's
what I've been saying.
How did I break the law? MLB app broke the law.
But you're an accessory.
I buy the MLB app, and it gives me access to all the games.
But not Cardinals games, which are blacked out.
But
Right?
Right. But I'm not. I buy this service and it sends my route. It says my router is in the U.S., which it's in the U.S.
I believe that's illegal, but whatever. They probably won't come to your door and arrest you.
It is not illegal.
That's what I've been saying.
There's no congressional passage of a law signed by a president saying I can't use this service to tell my
can't
router.
lie about where you are.
I'm in the U.S. I said my router is in the U.S.
Right.
That's all there is to it. I'm in the U.S.
It just seems something just doesn't seem.
I didn't.
Totally
Kelly, we're
right about
it's
that.
wrong.
I didn't break the law. Besides, there's something wrong with the fact that if you want to watch one Cardinal game on a Sunday night, you have to pay $150 a month for it.
There's something
You
wrong with
have
that
cable,
too.
right?
I do have cable, right? But I'm
So you're just making a point.
well, no. I'm actually testing the whole thing out. So when I get rid of cable, I'll still be able to watch the Cardinal games.
Well, so did you see my big story Sunday about how much there is to watch on everything that's not cable and how much it will cost you to get all those apps?
Yes, but it's also like Mad Men too. It's like if you miss Mad Men, you can't see it till they post it on Netflix.
I think you can buy it can't you buy it for $2 an episode?
Right, or something along those lines. Yeah. Yeah.
Which probably, if you only like one show and it only has 8 episodes, you're only spending $16.
That's right.
Right, and you end up looking at it differently. But going back to Bruce Jenner, how many people have never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians and yet have paid for it for the last 10 years?
True.
Yeah, as usual.
But when we start being able to pick and choose what channels we want, then everything's going to cost more. They're going to get you one way or another.
Well, that's true. We'll see how it all shakes out. But Gail, have yourself a good day. Thanks for checking in. When can we read you? When can we see you?
Friday Ghost Section and Sunday A&E.
Thank you, Gail
Take
Pennington.
care, Gail.
Bye, guys.
All right. Outdoor living was in full